This is what we refer to in the business as a child's blanket. Now, what it refers to is an early blanket, which can be either a classic or late classic time frame. So this can be 1860s to even upwards to turn of the century. That fits a certain size element and also look. This particular blanket we know was actually collected by a cavalry soldier in the early 1870s time frame. So we know the history, the time frame. Now, what are child's blankets, and do they actually exist? Because some people would say, well, child's blankets really were just small saddle blankets or smaller big blankets, but they really were not made for children. And the jury's still out on this. I like to feel and think that yes, it makes sense that blankets that were made for adults would also be made for children. And if you made something of high quality, you probably wouldn't let your child wear it very often. It would be a special occasion, or maybe something as a love for a mother to a child. So it makes sense in my own mind and my own thought process to think, yes, these things were made for children. But at the same time, I realize that some things like this, which we know were collected in the 1870s by a cavalry officer, that they may have not either had the money or even more the room to put something like this and bring it back home east when they were done. In this case, it was collected and it looks basically brand new. This is all made out of bayeta, which is a raveled yarn and is naturally dyed. This was probably made somewhere close to the time frame that it was produced, in the late 1860s to early 1870 time frame. Another blanket behind me is a little later. We know this is 1870s. It's still made out of the red coloration, which is the raveled bayeta, but in this case it's flannel. This is a synthetic dye versus this, which is a natural dye. Both of these were used from trade cloth to get this. So when you think of child's blankets, think of a certain size. They're generally about the size of a saddle blanket, 30 by 50, but they're very thin, they have great design patterns, and they're usually made with bayeta, which is a raveled yarn, and they're valuable. A great child's blanket can bring over $100,000. And if you have a classic child's blanket, expect for a good example to be paying anywhere from $35,000 to $65,000. Now you can get transitional pieces that are made in the 1880s that might be only from $4,500 to $6,500, or something that's with aniline colors like this, it might be more like $12,000 to $15,000. They're valuable and they're something that are highly collectible. Like anything, condition will always play a role. So if it's in mint condition like this one is, with a great provenance or history, we know where it's been, we know who had it, it's going to bring a lot of money. They're wonderful objects and very collectible.